Hey everyone, how's it going? In Generation 3, Pokemon introduced a mechanic that, although maybe underutilized in the single-player experience, if you're into competitive Pokemon, this was a game changer. Of course, I'm talking about double battles. 2v2, where there's infinitely more possibilities for matchups, synergy, moves, etc. And to coincide with this new mechanic, there would be new Pokemon, moves, and, although these didn't even exist before, abilities that would utilize these double battle mechanics. We can debate how successful all that was. I think a lot of us agree that double battles really started to come into their own in Gen 4 and beyond, but this is the generation that invented them, and as you can tell by the title in today's video, we're going to be using both Plusle and Minun in a mod of Pokemon Emerald where every battle is a double battle. Aside from this modification, and of course, modding in Plusle to be our starter, this will otherwise be a perfectly normal game of Pokemon Emerald. Movesets, gym leaders, everything else exactly as you remember it. I've actually always wished Game Freak would do something like this. They still could, Gen 10. But suffice to say, this will be interesting. Now, this is not my first double battle video. I think it's actually my third overall and second in Emerald. I did a Nuzlocke video a long time ago with this mod. But using both Plusle and Minun is very interesting because these Pokemon are supposed to synergize together. That's like their whole shtick. But realistically, they kind of do, but they really kind of don't. So let's look at their stats. They're identical. Plusle has slightly more offense. Minun has slightly more defense. Both are not so slightly terrible for quote-unquote fully evolved Pokemon. Their movesets are pretty much identical. The only actual difference is that at level 28, Plusle gets Fake Tears and Minun gets Charm. They are otherwise pretty much the exact same Pokemon. That's pretty bad, because two of the same kind of bad Pokemon means we're going to have the same weaknesses, the same resistances. There's not a lot of synergy. The one thing we do get is the often overlooked abilities of these Pokemon, because they're useless. I mean, in modern Pokemon, you would just use their hidden abilities, which didn't exist yet. Minus for Minun and plus for Plusle. I know, shocking here. Ordinarily, these abilities are downright useless in almost every circumstance, but in this specific run, my special attack of both Plusle and Minun is going to be boosted by 50%. And that's not just base stats, that's total power, which is much more powerful. The only problem is they're the same Pokemon, but they're going to be a lot stronger than they would be alone, which is interesting. One other interesting thing you may notice is that Plusle and Minun don't actually get an attacking move, which is why you've been watching what I have to do. Find a weak Pokemon like Wurmple. Since there are no Metapod, Kakuna, or Silcoon or Cascoon, you do have to defeat the rival. It is a mandatory victory, and even if it weren't, there was a trainer before I could get to Silcoon or Cascoon anyway. But yeah, it's really annoying and really tedious. Thankfully, we're not going to actually have to use Quick Attack. We're just going to use Struggle, and eventually we win. Hooray. Now, you may have noticed in that battle, where's Minun? So, remember how I said this game isn't modified other than making Plusle the starter? I meant that, meaning we don't have Minun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Game Shark code, and it's just going to transform every Pokemon on Route 102 to Minun. Eventually, I will catch one that has good enough stats, and we're off to go and try and beat this game. At first, Plusle is just going to use Struggle, and Minun's not going to use it yet, but hopefully during these battles, Minun will waste all its power points. Very, very annoying stuff. Also, fun little fact about Struggle, it cannot be aimed in a double battle. It just attacks randomly. So, that's great. You know what else is great? The first gym leader is Roxanne. And Quick Attack, the move we will get at level 10, is a normal move. So if you think this battle is going to go well, well, why don't we see? But first, a big thank you to today's sponsor, Red Magic. Red Magic kindly sent me over the Red Magic 10 Air, and this phone is an amazing gaming phone if I've ever seen one. Before we look at some specifications, I mean, just look at it. It's a really nice looking phone. They even give you this beautiful back case to kind of make the grip better. It's super lightweight and thin, and now you can see the actual specifications. It's blazing fast speed, huge screen to body ratio, and most importantly, it's really big battery. 6,000 milliamps with 80 watt fast charging, so it lasts forever and charges really quick. This is huge for a gaming device. But of course, the biggest question is, how does it game? And we're gonna test out Pokemon Unite, which can be very laggy. The frame rates can dip on lesser phones. And as you can see here, I might not be very good at this game. I've never played it before, but it did not dip below 60 FPS a single time. One of the cool features of the Red Magic Air is the game space, the app that allows you to adjust tons of settings and make sure each game is running just perfectly. Honestly, I usually hate gaming on my phone, but I'll tell you the truth, on the Red Magic 10 Air, it was a breeze. That's not a pun. So if you're interested in the Red Magic 10 Air or any of their other devices, you can click the link in the description or go to redmagic.gg and explore for yourself. There are so many really cool devices, and I hope you guys enjoy great mobile gaming experiences. Now, before I can beat Roxanne, how about we see what we can do against 2 Geodude? Now you can see Minun is still using Struggle, Plusle is stuck with Quick Attack, and yeah, did you see how little we did? We need to level up quite a bit more. The problem is, and this is kind of important, again, I'm not saying this in order to brag or anything, just so you understand what we're dealing with here. The game is unmodified, and in a solo run, which is what I typically do, all the experience points would be soaked up by a single Pokemon. But since this is a duo run, the experience points are actually being split between Plusle and Minun, meaning I'm essentially getting half as much EXP as I normally would, which means that this process is going to take a lot longer, especially if we have to level up a ton. About an hour into my playthrough, using real time, this game is sped up, trust me, I needed it, but we're gonna face Roxanne for the very first time. Now, I've opted to try and go for a double growl strat to get their attack to be -2. Now they use Rock Tomb, and I'm gonna press start here, which is going to give me HP numbers. Not sure why in Gen 3 why it was so hard to put both on screen at the same time, but yeah, you can just press start to go back and forth. I prefer the bars, but for this battle, probably would be best to see the actual numbers to know how much Growl is or isn't doing. And the truth is, it's not really helping too much, or at least the second round of Growls. I mean, I don't know, it's hard to tell by the bar. I guess that's kind of helpful. It was at 27, so 2 of them did. Okay, I mean, the problem is now we actually have to, you know, attack. Now, Helping Hand is one of those moves they were made for double battles. It's bad, don't use it here. Helping Hand really works if one Pokemon can attack for a lot of damage and the other is useless. In this case, they're the same Pokemon pretty much. In fact, my Plusle has Modest Nature, so its attack is kind of lower. So even though theoretically Minun should be weaker in both attack and special attack, my Minun has slightly stronger physical attack. So in other words, it's my physical attacker. But yeah, I'm gonna have to level up quite a bit. I try again at level 16, and I'm sure you're wondering, J-Rose, why don't you do this thing? Trust me, I'm getting to it. But in this battle, you're gonna see that, yes, Quick Attack simply just doesn't do enough damage. I can really start to whittle the Geodude's health down, but Roxanne has 2 potions and her Nose Pass, which hasn't even come out yet, has an Oran Berry. So I don't know if I need to level up more, but we need to change strategies. And that's going to mean we're going to head down to the forest, but we're not going to collect some Pokemon, because this isn't Viridian Forest, it's Petalburg Woods, and we're just going to use up all our power points. So now we're at level 16, but we have Struggle. Actually, we don't, and Plusle's actually 1 level lower than Minun, which I don't like, but what we have is 6 Growls, or 3 Growls for each, because I actually think that's a smart idea. And you can see I have the HP up, so now they're doing 6 each. And after a second set of Growls, they're going to be doing probably 4? That's 5. Okay, well, close to 4. They double attack mine, and we have Oran Berries equipped. So we're going to fully growl them because they're going to stick around for a while. And now we just double struggle. But like we talked about, I can't aim which Geodude it hits. And that's a massive problem. Because the one on the right just used a defense curl, so maybe we should focus on the left one. But I can't do that. It's why I don't like struggle strats in a double battle. Very interesting to me that struggle is a move that you can't target. There's a few moves. Rollout's another one that you can't target. It just hits what it hits. And that's very frustrating because it's very inefficient. But we do eventually knock out the right Geodude, surprisingly, the one with the defense curl, and Nose Pass comes out. But Nose Pass doesn't have any growls on it. And so it's able to do much more significant damage when it decides to finally attack. And once Plusle is knocked out, I cannot withstand a 2-on-1. Now, there is one interesting thing about Nose Pass. Unlike Geodude, it isn't a ground Pokemon. So in theory, we could do something interesting here. If one of our Pokemon, but not both, see, I usually want them at the exact same level, but if, hear me out here, if we had one of them level up just after a Geodude fainted, we could then use Spark, a move we get at level 18 on the Nose Pass, and that should work, right? Well, before I resort to that, I did want to try one more time. We're going to just speed this up with no Spark, just struggle, and we do really well in this battle. We knock out both Geodudes, and I thought we would win. The problem is the Nose Pass, in addition to not being growled, also has Harden. So as we slow down the footage so you can take in what you're seeing here, I'm not doing almost any damage. Yes, if I got a critical hit, that'd be nice, but this isn't Generation 1. Only a 6.25% chance of that happening. So sadly, it really does seem like Spark will be the spark of victory. That's not even a saying, but I need it. I need it. By the way, in case it doesn't come across because I don't really show it, leveling up, trying to lower power points, it's really tedious and it takes a long time. Case in point, meet Shiny Poochyena. This is, what, my 10th Shiny in these challenges? So add it to the collection of useless Shinies that I can't use. Hooray. Alright, so I trained up both Plusle and Minun to level 18. Didn't you say Spark was at level 18? Yeah, I screwed up. It's level 19, okay? Sorry, I don't remember every level. But anyway, it's at level 18. Speeding up the battle a little bit, we knock out right Geodude, and then Plusle is going to get Spark. I don't really need Helping Hand. It is completely useless when I have two identical Pokemon. So here comes Nose Pass, and Minun has Oran Berry. Both of them do. And then Spark. Oh, that did more than I thought. The plus 50%. Uh-oh. So here's now the problem. Minun now has Spark. I screwed up. We don't want Minun to get Spark. I gave Minun a little bit too much experience. That means that now neither Plusle nor Minun can attack Geodude. At least not for 20 turns. And while Geodude isn't doing too much, eventually he is going to get a critical hit. And sadly, as close as I got, and although I do get my own critical hit with struggle and come very close to knocking it out with the potions and the 20 wasted turns, Geodude is able to just outlast my Plusle, and I come painfully close to winning. So it seems like we have to knock out both Geodude first. Did I screw up? I'm gonna have to reset the whole thing. Thankfully, the answer to that question is a resounding no. I'll just speed through this battle. The growls, the Oran Berries. The attacks are actually hitting them both evenly, but here's where I make the big difference. Rather than knocking out the Nose Pass right away, I allow Minun to hit Geodude a few more times with struggle. Eventually, my HP gets too low and I have to knock out Nose Pass, but I get a clutch Minun struggle first, meaning Minun uses struggle, and that means I didn't have to go to my backup plan, which would have been to not teach Minun Spark and just wait until after Wattson, where I would have had Shockwave, which, by the way, could have worked. Plusle probably could have done everything on its own, but this is a much better outcome. Truth is, I just gave Minun slightly too much HP, but in 2 hours, I mean, I don't even want to know how much in-game time it was. Oh my god. By the way, I just want you guys to know, when I was younger, I used to do these on like road trips or when I was like commuting. Oh my god, it was much easier back then. The one kind of massive issue that I always wish somehow could have been fixed is I can't record on the go. I need it to be by a computer. And so that's why some of my earlier Catch 'em All videos don't have a lot of footage, because I would record it in the car or on the bus and there wouldn't be any footage. So yeah, I need to sit at my computer and do this. I actually do this on stream now, so chat keeps me company. But that was a very, very tedious first gym. But there's really good news. Now it should kind of be smooth sailing for a little bit at least. Brawly. He leads with Meditite, which by the way is useless, and Machop, but watch how much Spark does. That is 1. That is almost 2. Minun, remember, slightly less powerful than Plusle, but also it's important, by the way, because of how Gen 3 double battles work, just in case you guys need to know, Gen 4 and beyond, they work in a round system, let's call it. So when the Machop would have fainted, Spark would have just targeted the Makuhita, but in Emerald, it doesn't work like that, and you send out your second Pokemon immediately, meaning you can just hit the Pokemon before it has ever a chance to do anything. There are pros and cons to both systems. For our purposes, it means I need to be very deliberate if I think I'm going to one-shot to make sure I spread out my attacks. While in Gen 4, I don't actually have to be as careful. I can double target, and if a move somehow doesn't KO when I thought it would, oh well. Which is actually a lot easier. So I will say this system is surprisingly a little bit more tricky, which is why I like it. May 2 is a pretty famous rival battle, which we're not going to have to deal with because it's Brendan, because I picked the girl character, because I don't really know. There's really no reason. I just did. Anywho, Marshtomp is ground type, so that's going to be a problem, meaning we need to go for double quick attack. And it doesn't do as much as you'd like. Mudshot does way more than I'd like, so that's a little scary. But it looks like we're going to knock out Marshtomp, albeit it's going to be Minun. When the experience points get uneven, sometimes I battle wild Pokemon. Wild battles, as you may notice, actually you'll see right now. Oh, there's another Minun. They're all single battles, so it's something I can do to kind of get the experience points even. This is actually important because I like to know how much damage they're going to do and who's going to outspeed and who's going to act first. So, yeah, it isn't just a matter of, oh, J-Rose just likes everything even because he's J-Rose. I mean, it is mostly that, but there is an actual good game reason why. Wattson is probably who we have our worst matchup against, well, at least in the next little while. And we go for double Spark on Voltorb, which knocks it out, which is pretty great. But now Magneton comes out. I'm going to try and knock out Magneton, but double Spark isn't enough. And you can paralyze electric Pokemon, as you saw, and as Magneton just did, which is a problem. We're now going to be 2v2, so if I can knock out one of them, I can turn it into a 2v1. Manectric is paralyzed, and so I try to knock it out, but unfortunately, I have both Pokemon paralyzed. Oh, I do knock it out. Never mind, we're good. I mean, both being paralyzed kind of sucks, but Electrike can't really do that much. Wait. Okay. Minun? I take that back. I guess Electrike can 1v2 Plusle and Minun. Okay. Well, I'm not going to let this Electrike do that to me again. So what we're going to do is, let's knock out Voltorb first because it can use self-destruct and that would be bad. So we'll get rid of Voltorb. That's important. And also Voltorb doesn't have static. But now we'll get rid of Electrike. And it doesn't one-shot. All right, Electrike paralyzed. Electrike's gone. So now we're good. Magneton's going to use Thunder Wave on Minun. That's fine. Now I'm going to double Spark Magneton. It's paralyzed. Ooh, and it didn't move. Nice. So now, because there's no Pokemon remaining, we can just double hit Magneton as if it was Gen 4 like we talked about earlier. Minun doesn't attack, but that's not a problem. Spark 1, Minun doesn't attack. That's not a problem. Spark 2, and there's a critical hit, and there goes the battle. We get the static, but it doesn't matter. Wattson defeated. Shockwave is objectively worse than Spark, so we won't be using it for pretty much any reason. And we're going to move on to a part of the game where there's going to be a bunch of trainers, which is pretty good. But another thing is that if we get enough money, we can now purchase Thunderbolt. It's kind of like a throwback to Gen 1. It just requires a bunch of money. we can't rebattle trainers yet, so we need to just battle them as they come, and Amulet Coin isn't a thing yet. But once we get enough money, Thunderbolt, even on just Plusle, would be massive and would do way more damage. I mean, duh. All right, so it's been an hour of real time. So level 33 Plusle and Minun, and I have Thunderbolt on Plusle. Minun's still stuck using Spark, and it's actually faster than Plusle. I think it's a speed tie, but outsped there. And now we have Camerupt. Can't use Thunderbolt, so I'm going to go for Quick Attack. And then Minun has Secret Power. Or we could use Metronome, but it used Spite. But we could try it again, and it can use Thundershock. And we could try it again, and it uses Growl. Metronome's one of the tutorable moves, by the way. And, hey, Blast Bird, let's go! Look at my reaction. I was so happy I got to use Metronome in a run. Truth is, probably should have had Plusle using Secret Power, which you can buy. I could actually buy it already at this point in Slateport. I was just kind of lazy. But hey, first try victory is first try victory. And like I said, Metronome got used. Almost never get to use that move. It is a move tutorable move. There are some free move tutors. Metronome's one of the moves. And hey, can't complain about that, right? What I can complain about is Flannery actually has 2 ground Pokemon. And that's going to be a little bit of a problem, maybe. Secret Power doesn't one-shot Numel, but Thunderbolt obviously will one-shot Slugma. Numel goes for Takedown, this is fine. But now I gotta go Quick Attack Numel, and I try Metronome just to see what I even get. And I get Mega Horn, which, not really good. Then Attract happens, that's not good either. So, Perish Song, well, that's not useful. I guess I'm trying to force this whole Metronome thing a little bit too much. 3 turns I don't think is enough for me to win. And, oh, well, maybe. Okay, I got Numel. Maybe I can win. We'll see. No, not with Plusle fainted. And sadly, I have this Zigzagoon for HM purposes. For our solo runs, it doesn't really matter if I have extra Pokemon, but in duo runs, 1 Pokemon fainting, if I have any extras, means I have to reset, because Zigzagoon will be sent out into battle, which is annoying, but just part of what happens. Anyway, we'll try it again. Secret Power, Thunderbolt. This time, I'm gonna go, well, I guess we can just double up. Let's go for Metronome again. I go for Quick Attack. This time, Numel doesn't heal. I go for Metronome, get Growl. That's fine, I guess. Overheat doesn't knock out Plusle, and that was with Sunny Day. I can now go for Spark and Thunderbolt on Torkoal, knocking it out. Plusle is knocked out due to Overheat. We would have won. I have to deposit that Zigzagoon. I would have won otherwise, so let's go do that, and we'll come right back. All right, so we're back. Plusle and Minun, and we're going to do Thunderbolt and Spark. Numel is paralyzed. Slugma has fainted. Plusle levels up. Everything's good. Numel's paralyzed. We're going to go Quick Attack on Numel, and we're going to go, Quick Attack and Secret Power. Let's be, oh, wow, I hit Camerupt twice. I didn't mean to do that, but it doesn't do that much damage to Minun. This is actually good and an accident. Hyper Potion on Numel. I went for Quick Attack in case not. And sadly, we get a paralysis, but not a knockout, which is bad. Thankfully, Flannery's out of potions. We knock out Camerupt. Secret Power, we knock out Numel. And now we have won. I'm just going to go Thunderbolt, Spark. Everything's good. Easy peasy. Next gym leader is Norman. And Norman, well, I can use Thunderbolt against both his Pokemon. I still don't have enough to buy Thunderbolt for Minun, but after this I'll get Surf and Minun will get it. Sadly, Spinda then doesn't get knocked out and then uses a paralysis-boosted Facade. However, since I know Spinda will heal, I can use Thunderbolt on Lanoon and then go Spark, and then even after Citrus Berry, I can go Thunderbolt on Slacking, which knocks it out, and then... Alright, well, actually... Instead of using Spark, I could try and sub it in for Thunder and one-shot the Spinda. That was good. Let's go. So, that's Norman. We now have access to Thunder if we choose, or Thunderbolt. Hidden Power, which is Grass for Plusle. Excellent. And I believe Rock for Minun. Meh. Not super great, because Bug isn't really a threatening type. Ice... I'd rather just use Thunderbolt because most Ice Pokemon are also Water Pokemon. So, don't think we're going to use that. Also, don't forget, Plus and Minus only boost Special Attack, not regular attack. If they did, then I would use any hidden power. Once again, a large part of the world is open to us, meaning lots of level ups, but I battled Winona fairly quickly. Not quickly enough since I'm level 45, and so I don't even feel the need to really narrate this battle. I use Thunderbolt a bunch, and I win. In fact, Altaria is the only Pokemon that isn't one-shot, which is kind of cool, that something can withstand it. Although, Altaria isn't weak to it, but still. I didn't mean to be at this high a level, but it just kind of happened. There's so many trainers, it's hard to avoid leveling up. At this point in the story, we have to go to the Magma hideout first, and then the Aqua hideout. We're at level 51. I mean, come on. So we just go Thunderbolt on both Pokemon, easy one-shot, but we are going to have to deal with the Camerupt. And that is actually going to be a bit of a problem here. So I go Hidden Power and Metronome, Tail Glow, pretty cool. And then, oh, well, I guess I should take this seriously. Or go for Magical Leaf with Metronome plus Tail Glow. I mean, that worked, didn't it? But you can see I'm kind of just toying with the game at this point. I'm really surprised how easy it is. I mean, Plusle and Minun are pretty weak Pokemon, and we were dealing with the ground type, but the fact is, if I was able to mod in a level cap the way the Legacy games and other mods have them, I think this would have probably been a lot more difficult. But the truth is, in most of my solo, or actually all of my solo and duo runs, we never really do that because usually it's pretty tough. But I guess the plus 50%, unless we're facing a ground Pokemon, is just too good. Good thing we're not facing any more ground Pokemon, right? Tate and Liza are really bad in a lot of challenge runs. In a double battle run, I don't have to worry about being 1v2, but I do have to worry about Claydol. So we're going to go Thunderbolt on Xatu. Claydol is almost definitely going for Earthquake here. And wow, that did a lot. But Earthquake doesn't do as much. Okay, maybe this will work. I can knock it out. Let's see what happens. Thunderbolt. Ah, very close. I don't know if we could 1v2 this, because it's going to heal, Solrock's going to come out, Lunatone knocks out Minun. Do I have other Pokemon? I think I do, so I have to reset. Alright, so take two. Once again, just two Pokemon. We're going to do the exact same thing as last time. It seemed to work kind of okay. One-shot Xatu, level up here, and then Earthquake doesn't knock me out, and I go for Thunderbolt on Lunatone, and then... no, I'm not going to go Metronome. Wait, I am going to go Metronome! I didn't mean to click that, and I got Crabhammer! That was a mistake! Oh my god, that was actually not intended. I did not mean to go for Crabhammer Metronome. Okay, well, yay, we win. That was a complete accident. Pretty funny and kind of the good side of Metronome, but that was not what I meant to do whatsoever. I do get careless and misclick often, and in double battles, I'm often thinking too much and like, wait, which Pokemon am I on? Especially because they're so similar, but hey, win's a win, right? Now, all we have left is really Juan and the Elite Four. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know if any of them are gonna actually pose much of a challenge. Are Plusle and Minun just too good? So Juan has a Whiscash, which he actually leads with, which is kind of good. But since we just so happened to get Hidden Power Grass, I didn't manip for this. I couldn't have picked a better one, honestly. I mean, it would have been probably higher than like base 48 power or whatever. But I'm not going to complain, and now we just Thunderbolt everything. Even Kingdra, I mean, we don't one-shot it, but essentially we do because we go before it. So yeah, that's the main game. Now we have to face a Dark-type trainer, a Ghost-type trainer, an Ice-type trainer who uses Water-type Pokemon, a Dragon trainer, that could be interesting. And then we have to go and fight another Water-type trainer. I don't know, this could be over. First up is Sidnai, the Dark-type guy. Anyway, he leads with Shiftry and Mightyena. I'm gonna go Thunderbolt and Thunderbolt, because Shiftry's kind of awful, so I knock out Mightyena, and then I get a good hit on Cacturne. Shiftry goes for double team. You know what? I said awful. We'll just leave it. Knock out Cacturn, and now out comes Crawdaunt. Goodbye, Crawdaunt. And so all that's left, I believe, is Shiftry and Absol. I am correct. So now I could have used Shockwave, but we're going to knock out Absol. And, all right, another miss. So, let's just go for Secret Power. Okay. Try and get a paralysis here. Trying to do something. I don't know. Thunderbolt. Swagger. Okay, actually, this could be annoying. I wonder if I should just reset because of the sheer obnoxious... Oh, God, Torment. All right, okay. Maybe I'll Encore. Now it's stuck in Torment. God, now I can use Thunderbolts and Thunderbolts. God, I'm not hitting anything. I can't use Thunderbolts, so I have to go Secret Power, Plusle, Thunderbolt. All right, yay. Wait, no, and now it's going to heal because they haven't done that yet. Yeah, all right. Well, this is obnoxious. Okay, I should not have left Shiftry under any frickin'... Oh, now they're both tormented. We're tormenting you. Oh, gosh, I really do feel that. I hate it. Torment. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged references, and I'm done this battle. No. Call it a loss, if you will. I'm done. That was awful. That was horrendous. Okay. New plan. Although Mightyena likes to go for Sand Attack, let's just knock out Shiftry. It's gone forever. Okay, well. All right, just Thunderbolt, Mightyena. Cacturn isn't... Well, actually, Cacturn is also bad, but I'll knock out Crawdaunt. So now we have Cacturn and Absol, and I'm going to try to... Oh, wow, Cotton Spore missed. Nice. I'm going to... Okay, Absol's gone. It's a 2v1. This is fine. This is good. Minun's the one with full accuracy, so yay. Okay, that worked well. So Sideneye has been defeated, and now we get to the next trainer, Fweb. I hope I will not be caught in her Fweb. Because, like, spiders and scary, I don't know. This Dusclops always goes for Protect turn 1, so I knock out Banette, and I do, for whatever reason, decide to Thunderbolt it. I'm not exactly sure why, because I know that, but it doesn't actually matter, which is kind of the worst part, because nothing stands up to me whatsoever, and we get a really, really quick and easy victory. Not much thinking there. Okay, so now we have Glacia, and hopefully her team isn't just made of glass, but I have a feeling it will be, because Thunderbolt is going to one-shot the Celio, and then out comes another Celio, and we one-shot the Pokemon that isn't even weak to Thunderbolt. Of course. We knock out Celio 2, and here's Glalie 2. Do we knock that out as well? Oh, we very much do. And now, okay, well, on to Draki, the best of the Elite Four. He has a Flygon, right? He has one in Ruby and Sapphire. I never remember. I think he does. That should be difficult. All right. This will be good. Shelgon and Altaria. Shelgon resists Thunderbolt, by the way. So that's important. Shelgon went for Protect, so I double Thunderbolt to Altaria. That's not why, I just wanted it to faint. And there's Flygon. Okay, so I have Hidden Power Grass, and... Alright, I go for Secret Power, Hidden Power Grass, and... Hey, look at that! Look at that! We see difficulty! Okay, finally! Challenge, let's go! So, Flygon needs to be knocked out in one turn, or else it can one-shot my entire team. That's cool. I'm good with that. Something to try and strategize for. I didn't save outside of Drake the first time. I do now because they're so easy, the first 3, so might as well. All right, so let's do the exact same thing as last time and hope for a different result. As one said, that is not the definition of insanity because we've only done it one time. Okay, so now let's go Secret Power and let's try Metronome. All right, well, Mudspore was the worst thing that could have possibly happened. Okay, so Metronome may have not been the play unless I get a really good Metronome. I don't know. Are we really going to do this? I'll try. Maybe. Okay, so we want to double Thunderbolt because Shelgon seems to always go for Protect. So there goes Altaria. That's good. And now I'm going to go for Secret Power. And let's try Metronome again. Water Spout. Okay, it's paralyzed. All right, there it is. That's it. That's the game. The Water Spout wasn't actually... That's kind of cool, but Wasn't actually that useful, but yeah, that's that. I mean, Rock Tomb's a little annoying, but we can two-shot at the very least this Kingdra. Yep. And Shelgon's not very strong. Now we have to deal with Salamence, and our Plusle speed is lowered, so that could be a problem. Okay, this could be maybe a problem. Maybe this is something we need to overcome. Thunderbolt, Dragon Claw. Now, I mean, almost had to overcome it, but sadly, the plus-minus gimmick just works too darn well in single player. In a real double battle in VGC, it would never work because one Earthquake, everything is over. But this game wasn't balanced for double battles. It wasn't balanced for Plusle and Minun. And I'm not even like doing the fake gloating thing. There is no way in Hiffle we do not win this on our first try. Let's do it. All right, we go for Thunderbolt on Wailord, and I actually, just in case I don't knock out the Wailord, but I don't know why I thought I would, I Thunderbolted again, meaning Gyarados gets knocked out, and then Tentacruel misses with Hydro Pump, which is actually kind of lucky. That was kind of dumb. We Thunderbolt the Gyarados, which is unsurprisingly a one-shot, and then Ludicolo comes out. Hidden Power one-shots Whiscash. Oh, I didn't actually think it would one-shot. Well, Milotic does take 2 Thunderbolts, so I wasn't wrong to assume that some of these Pokemon might, but Ludicolo's double team doesn't really do anything, and this double team of Plusle and Minun have absolutely destroyed Pokemon Emerald. There is absolutely no trainer that could possibly put them down. Plus and minus, too good. Nothing in this game stands up to it. What's going on? So Steven has a really good team because pretty much all his Pokemon know Earthquake. And his Pokemon are also fairly high leveled, so while we can one-shot the Skarmory, we get Earthquake, which one-shots Plusle, one-shots Aggron. No, it doesn't one-shot the Aggron, but it does one-shot Minun. And we actually do need all these other Pokemon because we have to get to Steven's lair. So I think you're starting to see how this is finally a battle I can't just cheese or be cheeky, because Claydol is quite a defensive monster. I can like get Shadow Ball, that was super effective, and I did all of half damage. So this is going to actually probably take some genuine strategy. And this is a really good time to mention, I haven't EV trained, which I often do, and I haven't really thought about other moves or things I could do. Ooh, Reflect's kind of good. But it still, with Reflect, knocks out both my Pokemon. With Reflect. The thing, though, is, other than EV training, which we could do, there's not actually a lot I haven't done. Hidden Power, I mean, I guess Iron Tail, but it wouldn't help against Claydol. Plusle and Minun have really bad movesets. I mean, they can't learn grass moves or water moves or ice moves or many interesting status moves. Like, they're kind of useless against a Claydol. Now, sometimes it looks like I'm just losing over and over again, and that's because I am, but the truth is I'm talking to chat and thinking about strategy, and it's a little bit more visually interesting to watch me play this over and over again, trying to go for weird metronome strats, than me just sitting at the pause screen. I mean, I'm just mindlessly clicking A, so hoping something would happen. And as we can tell, metronome is simply not going to be a thing here. It has served us well. It's been a kind of a gimmick. I don't think it was ever really the strat. The Blast Burn, I guess, was kind of cool, but pretty much all those battles, there was a better strat I could have used. And here's one where theoretically it could really be useful. That Water Spout may have been really good, or like Blizzard, but the chances of getting those and them hitting are really low, and so we're gonna have to do something else. Okay, so here's where I made some progress. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go for Swagger. That is one of the free Move Tutor moves. So if I get Claydol hitting itself in confusion, I get another turn. Makes sense? Now I have to think about what I want to do, and I can knock out Aggron. It doesn't really mean much because once Claydol snaps out of it. Oh, actually, light screen. Interesting. Didn't expect that. But, alright, nice critical hit. We actually have gotten to just 3 Pokemon left, but here is another issue Pokemon, Cradily. Cradily resists my electric moves, and it's not weak to Earthquake. Not that it matters, because we just got completely shredded. So Swagger may be part of the solution. It's definitely not the solution, though. I did get the idea, and I don't really have footage for this because it never happened, to maybe lock Claydol into Encore, but the more I battled Steven, the more I realized it didn't really do anything, because Light Screen being up is actually just terrible for me because I use special attacks. So I don't want to Encore it into Light Screen. Sure, Claydol won't attack, but that's also just a bad thing, and I can't reliably get crits. So once again, I just lost a bunch and had to think about a new move. I mean, I know I came back with Swagger, but I just wanted to see what that would really do, if it would make much of a difference. And the answer is yes, it bought us a little bit of time, but we're not close to a victory. All right, so let's add a new layer to the strat. Let's add Substitute on Plusle, Swagger on Minun. Minun keeps Swagger, another free move tutor move in Substitute. Now we need Claydol to not hit itself in confusion, go for Earthquake, and it knocks out my Substitute. Minun used Protect, Aggron faints. Okay, but now what? Now Metagross is out, and I don't know what to do. I mean, I wanted to see if I could knock it out with 2 Thunderbolts, and the answer is no. So that's an issue. I need to be able to knock it out with 2 Thunderbolts. So I can swap this Pecha Berry, which is because Skarmory likes to use Toxic, but I don't know if that's going to make the difference. Magnet is only 10%. Well, it didn't take too long to get back to Metagross, thankfully, and it still doesn't knock it out. So that's an issue. Again, I'm still not sure what exactly I'm going to do with Claydol, but I'm going to need to knock out that Metagross quickly. It's a scary Pokemon, which, for the record, also has Earthquake. Now, I'm sure you guys have realized that Claydol is the big obstacle, but what if I told you knocking out Claydol doesn't actually make things that much better? So what we're going to do here is we're going to speed up because I'm going to just try and get a million runs because I need a 25% chance where Claydol hits itself in confusion with Swagger twice. If it does so, then we can go for Hidden Power and then, I don't know, maybe... Alright, well, Metronome doesn't really work. So we need something for Minun to hit it with. But what? I get Assist Miss and... Alright, well... Okay, that needs to be... That part of the plan needs to be fixed. But anyway, now we have Aggron. And... Alright. Now I need to know how much damage I do to things. I'll go Protect on Minun, Thunderbolt on Skarms. Because if Aggron goes for Earthquake, it's going to do a bunch of damage to Metagross, which is good. Actually, this works really well. Okay, wait. I see a plan forming. Okay. Now, can Minun knock out... Alright, oh, I went for Double Protect. So Plusle can knock it out from there, which is good. But it's just going to knock out both. Alright, yeah, that doesn't work, but we're getting somewhere. I looked at all the moves available to me, and yes, now technically I could go to the Battle Frontier, but that would be really difficult with a Plusle and a Minun. So I'd rather not do that right now, because they don't like auto level. Anywho, Mimic and Substitute I thought could be an interesting combo. Why? Because if Plusle uses Substitute, and then I'm able to Mimic Substitute that Plusle used, rather than needing Minun to knock out Claydol, I could have both Plusle and Minun behind Substitutes and allow Steven to knock his own Pokemon out with Earthquake. This seemed like an amazing strat other than one very important detail that Bulbapedia didn't even have because I guess no one's tested this. Mimic doesn't work behind a Substitute. I would test this every which way. If you are behind a Substitute, Mimic will always fail. Okay, well, I don't think that's actually completely true. I didn't test this because I didn't need it for our purposes, but I'm pretty sure, like with Smeargle and Sketch, if I were at like 24% HP, and then Substitute failed, I could then mimic Substitute that way, but that wouldn't help in this scenario, so I didn't test it. In other words, the mimic strat was a dead end. I was so happy that I would be able to use mimic in Gen 3. Mimic is nerfed. It can only mimic the very last move used. If it was Gen 1 mimic, then I think it would still fail, but it would be interesting. Sadly, double Substitute via mimic isn't possible, and unfortunately, Substitute is not a TM, it's a one-time move tutor. I can't get it on both Pokemon. So what in the world can I do? The answer is, unfortunately, not as much as I'd like. I'm still stuck with the same moveset, and you might wonder, well then, why are you battling Steven again? The answer is, I've EV trained, so some of these damage ranges I was getting on Thunderbolt, I'm going to be able to probably knock out more things with both Plusle and Minun, because they both now have max, I believe, in special attack, which is pretty useful. But other than that, I'm still, ooh, nice crit. I'm still stuck using Substitute and praying for metronomes. Like, I don't really know what else, because hidden power on Minun, as we talked about, is rock, and rollout's a move that's not very effective. There really isn't much. Finally, after like 2 hours of attempts, I get one that's kind of close. At this point, I'm playing in hyperspeed, just hoping for the 1 in 4 chance I get double Swagger hitting itself in confusion. I need that and no toxic. Once I see I get 1, I slow down in order to make sure I don't make a mistake, and then I go Protect, and I go for, actually, I meant to go for Thunderbolt. That was actually a mistake. All right, that's fine. It's supposed to be Thunderbolts. I got my strat wrong, but thankfully, I wasn't punished for it. And, oh, I'm not able to knock out Claydol, but then it knocks itself out. Okay, so I was hoping Claydol would be knocked out. Now, all right, how much does Thunderbolt do to... All right, I'm going to go Protect, and then Thunderbolt on Metagross. And then Aggron goes for Earthquake and knocks out Metagross. Oh, it doesn't. Well, that's poo. And now Metagross is going to heal. So, hold up. I can go for Substitute and then Thunderbolt on Aggron, right? Because he has to heal here. Or should I just double Thunderbolt it just to see how much it does? I'm going to do that. I'm going to go for information. Sadly, I get a crit, which is good, but doesn't give me information. And then Credilli comes out, and yeah, that doesn't give me enough information. But hold up, I can get even more useful information, because now that Credilli is out, I mean, I didn't do much to it, but I can double Thunderbolt the Metagross, and I can knock it out. That's important. And hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I can now double Thunderbolt Armaldo. I have gotten this to a 2v1 situation here. This is a 2v1. I can go behind a Substitute, and then Thunderbolt, go behind a Substitute. No, why? I was good. It was gonna work. Why? All right, now I need like Horn Drill. All right, well, that's not what I needed. Yeah, and now I need to reset because I need to surf and go off waterfalls and, oh, God. All right, really close, but... Credilli is awful, man. Yeah. But after literally hundreds of attempts and another strategy change that you're going to see in just a second, we get it hitting itself in confusion the first turn, which is good. And then, like I did in the last attempt I showed you, I used Protect accidentally. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to knock out Skarmory. That's the plan. This time we get a favorable range and knock out Claydol, and then we have to knock out Skarmory here. So what do I even do? I'm off script. This isn't how this is supposed to go. Minun goes for Protect, Plusle goes for Thunderbolt. Ooh, that's a huge crit. I would not have one-shot otherwise. And now Aggron's gonna do some decent damage. Ooh, another crit. Okay, so now I gotta go for Thunderbolt on Aggron, and no, not Protect, not Protect. Wait, it went for Solar Beam? I know I don't one-shot Aggron. Okay, Ingrain, Solar Beam. Let's Toxic Credilli, knock out Aggron, And now Armaldo comes out. Cordelia uses Ancient Power. No Omniboost. I have lefties now on Minun. You have that from the SS Aqua. I go for Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt. All right, we have a Poison Cordelia. Come on, stop hitting Minun. I do have Protect on Minun, though. I have Protect on both of them. Thunderbolt, Protect. And then, oh, I think we got it. I think we got it. I think we got it. Oh, we have it. Finally. Finally. We could just double Protect or wait, full Restore. Hold up. Hold up. Good thing I thought about that. I went for Toxic just in case. See, I didn't celebrate too early. Okay. But because I went for Toxic, I can now go for Protect here. And then Thunderbolt, Ancient Power, Protect, lefties. I think we got this. I think we got this. We have to go for it. We have to go Thunderbolt. We have to go Thunderbolt. And we have to win. Holy mackerel. Steven was way harder than anything else in this game. But we did it. Plusle and Minun were great at everything but Roxanne and Steven. And a little bit of Flannery. But what a weird, fun, interesting run. Turns out that two Pokemon with abilities that complement each other, I guess, do pretty well. I do wonder what, like, Illumise and Volbeat, or even Solrock and Lunatone, I'd have to face a water trainer at the end. That could be interesting as well. There were tons of duos in Ruby and Sapphire. It'd be fun to do more of these. Let me know if you like them. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this Plusle and Minun extravaganza. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.